Is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B. Welcome, Big G. And this is the big show. We appreciate y'all being here, man. Steelers Almighty, having a lot of fun. I'm still on the mend. But you know what? I'm here, and we're going to make this happen today, Big G.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. I'm here with you, man. Steelers Almighty, we're going to get on with what we get on with.
Absolutely.
Hey, Ratbirds, how you feeling today? How you feeling today, Ratbirds? How they feeling?
Yeah, they're not feeling good. They're not feeling good after that Steelers victory on Sunday. But we got a report card that we're coming out with. That'll come out tomorrow. We're gonna mix it up a little bit today. Usually it's my report card, but like I said, I've been on the mend. So I basically have been in bed the last couple of days. So Big G had his report card that he gave to the game, and then I am going to respond to his report card today. So still going to do everything like we've done before. Still going to have a live show. Still going to be fun. It's just going to be the reverse of how we usually do it. So I appreciate that'll keep me from talking a whole lot, hopefully. And then we're just going to make this thing work. So I appreciate everybody out there, man. Thank you guys again for showing up. Steelers Almighty again. Fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate all y'all support, man. Love you guys. Thank you for the support. Let's get into it again. You want to make sure that your question and your statement or your rant gets up. Super chats are wide open. You know how to do that. So we appreciate any way that you guys want to help support the channel. Let's get into this. Get after it, Big G.
Man, listen, so I felt like I was under a lot of pressure this week, man, because me and Big B reversed. And I know Big B don't mess around with grading the Steelers, man. So while I was sitting back doing it, I was like, man, what would Big B think? What would Big B think? And I was like, man, I can't just go all in for my love for the Steelers, man. So I had to be fair and I had to be true based on film study and everything else I saw. So B, I started with the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Now, I gave the quarterbacks a C+ grade. The reason I gave him a C+ grade is because Russie didn't play like everybody thought he should in a big game. 23 of 36, 205 yards, a critical interception to Mount Washington in the end zone. But when I went back and I watched the all-22 film, man, and you know it's not a lot of sound there, but you can tell because we played ball how you flip plays. And I think Russie saw during that, especially third and fourth quarter, he audible to the inside runs. And I believe that our center and both guards had decent to good games. And they saw, well, okay, we can attack these guys, especially once Roquan Smith went out of the game. So I gave a little up curve for Russie. But then what helped boost the grade was Justin coming in and sealing the game. Yes, he only had 2 carries for 17 yards. But Justin handled his business, and he put the game away when we needed it. Yes, he slid early. Oh, well, it is what it is. When you play 11-on-11 football, you change the element of how the game is played. And I think that's what happened at the quarterback position. So I gave him a C+, bro.
You know what? A C+ I think is fair. The struggles in the red zone, some of that wasn't Russ's fault. That's wide receivers just not getting open. Wasn't the most accurate, as we've talked about, but I'll agree. And you do have to factor in Justin Fields coming into the game and doing what he did, but I don't think it was a horrible game. Now, look, that interception in the red zone, just can't have it. Not have it. But having said all of that, I don't think it was horrible by Russ by any means, and a C+ I think is a good grade.
Yeah. And we got to improve because that was his worst game. So
correct.
I'll take a C+ all day and night with a dub. All right, B, I went to the offensive line, and you know, hey, man, we got war stories when it comes to O-line play and what should be executed and what you need to do concerning O-line, right? Now, I'm going to preface this, and I've stated it already. Zach Frazier, McCormick, Seumalo, outstanding. I gave a high 79.80 grade for Seumalo, 77.79 for McCormick, 78.81 for Zach Frazier. That's all above average. That's great play. But an offensive line isn't 3 guys.
No.
It's 5 guys.
Yes.
And when going back and reviewing the tape, Dan Moore and Mr. Jones, Lord have mercy. They looked horrible, bruh.
Yeah.
They looked horrible. They gave, and pass pro as well as run, they didn't really execute the way you should as a Steelers tackle. They both gave up sacks, and Mr. Jones had multiple holding calls.
Yeah.
So saying all that and really reviewing the game and looking at the film, I could only give them a C, even though I think that internal offensive line handled their business, because we got to get better play out of the tackles, bro.
C, I think is generous. I would say a C minus. Dan Moore, this was his worst game by far. This was ugly, and Broderick was back to being Broderick. He played terrible, but Dan Moore was worse. Now, but the other 3 were better. McCormick was pretty good. Isaac was really good. And Zach Frazier, first game back. But C minus. I would have went with C minus because I didn't think the offensive line was very good at all, man. Let me get this super chat in here real quick. But our man Claude Bishop, you two make a hell of a duo. Great show as usual, gentlemen. We appreciate you, Mr. Claude.
Hey, man, that's the Matrix General, man. The Matrix General. Claude Bishop, man. Claude, hey, I can see over here on this channel, man, we're going to get along a lot better than we do on the other channels, man. So, yeah, we appreciate you, Claude. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely, man. Keep it going, my man.
All right, so, B, I went to the tight end wide receiver, and I love the way how you do it on other podcasts, and you don't separate the 2 units. You push them together because they're pass catchers.
Yes.
And so that means you have to grade them in totality. So I actually went back and listened to one of your grading shows, and I said, oh, man, I'm not breaking the mold or the wheel. This B knows what time it is, and I'm sticking with that, right? So I looked at them in totality. We got great play from 2 players or good play from 2, and the rest of them, oh, my goodness. Now, I'm going to start this off right off the back. Mike Williams, where in the hell was you at?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand that. Maybe I got issues with Smith versus Mike Williams, but he wasn't on the field.
No.
And then I'll start with the 2 worst wide receivers, and Jefferson and freaking Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin, you dropped a critical pass for the Pittsburgh Steelers that would have put us in scoring position. And when I went back and watched it on the 22 and rewound it, man, the Ravens dude never even touched it. It bounced off his shoulder pad, bro.
Bounced off his shoulder pad.
You got to catch it. You have to catch it. You're a pro's pro. You got to do what you need to do. So F right off the back for him. Jefferson was even worse. His non-existence in the pass and for the passing game with drop passes, as well as his inability to block. Right. We had to sub him out of the game because he couldn't block.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh yeah, that's horrible. Horrible. Freiermuth, you wasn't too much better. You was non-present for a minute. And maybe that's because they were keen on you because they were like, okay, they're not going to throw the ball to Washington. They're not going to throw the ball to Hayward. They're not going to get these other guys involved. So that set up the 2 good parts of it, which was George Pickens and Mount Washington. Even though Mount Washington missed a pass in the end zone, which he should have jumped, heck, you're 6'7", 280, jump and go get the ball.
Right.
But he made critical catches in the seam routes for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And both me and you have been calling for this all freaking year.
Yeah.
And I think Rusty finally saw it. So that's an adjustment and a good point for Arthur Smith. Pickens, he does what he always does. Pickens had 8 for 89. He could have scored. I think that was PI in the end zone on the Ratbirds defensive back.
Oh, yeah.
So he should have scored and he could have scored. So knowing all that, I gave him a C+ because I like the upside versus the downside. But we have to do something about wide receiver 2 or 3 or whatever one you want to label him, bro.
Yeah, C+ I think is fair. I won't hold it too much against Mike Williams because they just didn't put him in the game. Mm-hmm. You know, if he's not in the game, he can't do a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if, hey, he got in for a couple of snaps. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to. We didn't like his blocking, whatever it was, but he wasn't in the game very much, which was disheartening, to say the least. But I think C+ is fair. Pickens was good. Washington was okay. He was pretty good. Freiermuth just wasn't. The guy's got to get open. It just, period, point blank. Guys got to get open, especially in the scramble drill. They got to be better. You know, you can't, okay, I ran my route, my quarterback's running around, and I'm just going to stop. No, that it doesn't work like that. You got to do more. You got to do more. And right now, they're just not doing more.
Yeah, man. Me and you said that they need to practice the scramble drill, and we didn't know if they were going to be able to get it in this with a short week on Thursday with the Browns coming. But after that, the 10 days, we're going to run scramble drill at least for 2 periods during practice because you have to get open. You have to get open. And that will help Rusty and Justin. So I agree, bro. All right, last position on offense, which to me had the highest grade. I went back and watched the film. There was a few plays I actually had to rewind and I was like, did I see that? Right? What I saw. Offensive line, you as well as you know, B, running back depends on offensive line.
Yeah.
If O-line doesn't do their job, then the running backs can't do their job.
Right.
Considering all of that, we still had 122 yards rushing.
Yep.
We ended up, Najee had 18 carries for 63, 9 for 41 for Jalen Warren. We talked about what Justin Fields did for the 17 yards. Considering how bad the tackles played, the line the running backs had a great game. They caught passes out of the backfield, Warren and Najee, right? Najee dropped one, which could have been huge.
Yeah.
But he dropped one, and I was like, man, we're going to need this from a divisional opponent because it was strength on strength. And I think by the third and the fourth quarter, and that's where I started rewinding it, because I saw Najee punishing Baltimore Ravens defensive linemen and linebackers. Like Roquan Smith got a hamstring, but Roquan Smith was out there taking punishment, bro.
Yeah.
Najee was leaning forward. And then I started seeing Jalen Warren lean forward. And I was like, Baltimore. I knew in the middle of the third, going into the fourth, Baltimore was in trouble because they gave up. I mean, not gave up, they gave out. And they didn't have enough left in the tank to be able to stop the Steelers. So I gave the Steelers running back room a solid B for their performance against the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll be honest with you, Big G. I think that's a little low. I would have went B+. I thought they were good. I thought the running backs were good. Look, you can't do anything when there's no running lanes. I mean, you can only do so much. I think they made the most of what they did. They caught the ball out of the backfield well. I know Najee had the one drop, but other than that, I thought the Steelers running backs and everybody, especially when Fields came in the game, I thought they were good. I thought and again, as the game went on, the Steelers got better. Their defense was noticeably different when Roquan Smith went out of the game. There's no question about that. That's not our fault. That's not our fault at all. But we just got to keep running the football. I think the Steelers did a really good job. I'd have given them a B+. I like what the running backs did.
I like the grade, man. So I don't know how you want to do this, but before we switch over, do you want to announce that Super Chats are wide open? If you want to get your question to the front of the line, and thank all the people in the live chat for joining us tonight. We appreciate all the support and love we get on Steelers Almighty, bro.
Absolutely, man. Thank everybody for everything you did. Before Big G gives the overall grade for the offense, we want to just thank everybody for everything out there. Again, we're growing. I know I'm on the mend, but don't give up on me. I promise. I'm still fighting for you guys, man. I'm still out of here fighting. So appreciate y'all being out here.
Facts. All right, so my overall grade for the offense, I gave the offense a C+. I gave him a C+. I think that was fair. And to be honest, B, I think it was the worst game we played in a while offensively. I mean, literally, I have to go back maybe to that Dallas Cowboy Indianapolis game to find a game offensively. But it was the Ravens. It's a divisional rival. They know us. We know them. And so for us to be able to win the game with 6 field goals and failing in the red zone, we were okay. We were good enough to win. So I gave them that grade.
I think that's a fair grade. The offense wasn't great. It wasn't pretty. But it's never going to be great or pretty against the Ravens. It's just not what it is. That's not what this game is going to entail. Having said all of that, it could have been worse. It could have been worse, and it wasn't. So I think C+ is a fair grade, Big G.
All right, B. So look, I got to go to the defense. But before I do it, I need the entire NFL community to put some respect on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, man. If you didn't think or know before, we are the number 1 defense in the freaking NFL. I don't care what you say, how you cut it. People were out there. Who y'all playing? Well, we just played the Ratbirds, and we held them to 329 yards of total offense. They was the most explosive scoring team in the league. We punished them boys, and Lamar looked frazzled. And Big B, what did I tell you we was going to do to Big Boy? What did I tell you we was going to do to Big Boy Derrick Henry? We punished him. He wasn't ready for it, man. So the Steelers defense, and I'm going to break them down by position, but I'm telling you right now, put some respect on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, bro. Right off the back.
Right off the bat.
Right. So, defensive line. Hey. Hey, listen, we only had 2 sacks. We had three pressures, 3 tackles for loss. But Lamar was running for his life. And every time Big Boy Derrick Henry met one of the Steelers in the hole, what happened?
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it front and center. Orlando Roberts, punishment. Deshaun Elliott, punishment. Watt, punishment. Herbig, punishment. Benton, punishment. They was killing that boy. They was killing. They even had plays. Did you see, B, where they had plays where they had Smith with his hand down and Watt behind him, and Smith was the DN? Punishment.
Yep.
Punishment on Lamar. Punishment on the Ratbirds offense, defensive line. And listen, when I watched the film, they was beating them off the block in the third and the fourth quarter. You saw the Ravens offensive line start going backwards. And you saw the Steelers defensive line going forward. Yeah. Hey, bro.
I don't even think it's up for debate. The Steelers controlled the line of scrimmage when we were on defense. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They couldn't run the ball. Lamar was under constant pressure all game long. Didn't matter from where. We controlled the line of scrimmage. And if you control the line of scrimmage against the Ravens, you have a really good chance of winning. We've been able to do that 9 of the last 10 times. Sunday was no different.
Facts.
A is an outstanding grade. Hell, you could have said A+.
Oh, listen, you being generous, bro. That ain't like you, B. Normally, man, A+. Hey, I'm with you, man. All right, we're going to go to what I say was the best unit the whole freaking game. The linebackers. The linebacking play, A+. Listen, I count edges with line, okay? So I count inside guys, Peyton Wilson, Orlando Roberts, Patrick Queen. Man, Patrick Queen played all-pro level football, bruh. He led us in tackles, and he was causing problems. That man, Lamar and them didn't know where he was coming and where he was coming from. He commanded that defense the entire game, and he met any guy that they needed to meet in the hole, and he was putting guys in right position to make big plays on defense, man. Hey, Orlando Roberts, he reminds me of an old school Steeler linebacker, man. You know how like we used to get after it with Lloyd and Green and Debo and
Ron Kirkland.
And Kirkland and Porter. We used to get up after him, bro. Even Ferrier, we got up after him.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Orlando Roberts was out there doing that old school Steeler thing. You come up in between them tackles, punishment. And that's the whole game. Anybody that came up in there got it. And listen, Lamar was scared of him, bro. I'm telling you, I was rewinding it. It was like he was looking around, like, where's that 50 dude? Man, because that dude, man, was going to hurt me, man. So I was like, yeah. But the linebacker of the game was Peyton Wilson. Listen, in dime personnel, which we didn't play. We played less dime all year than I've seen. We wasn't out there playing dime like that, bro.
Mm-mm.
And when Wilson came in, explosive. On the rundowns and, oh, God, on the pass rounds. That was one of the best interceptions I've seen by a rookie all year. He literally fought that dude for the ball, took it from him, and really was like the game-clinching thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got to give him an A+, dog. Got to give him an A+.
Yeah, I would have went. I like what the linebackers did. I think it's a fair grade too. Orlando Roberts was out there playing. Patrick Queen, his second big time game again. You knew he was going to be motivated, and hopefully he just keeps stacking games so he can become even better. I like what Peyton Wilson. He didn't get a ton of snaps, but he got out there enough, made the play of the game, like you mentioned. A is a great grade. I would have went A. You said A plus. I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. Again, the front seven dominated the line of scrimmage. Linebackers are a part of that.
Facts.
They controlled the football game on the defensive side of the ball.
Facts. All right. The lowest grade of all the defense was the defensive backs. Now, I need to preference this. There was not a lot of PI calls. There was not a lot of holding calls. And I liked it because the referees allowed them to be physical. When I went back and looked, because, I just couldn't be biased on one side of the ball and just be like, okay, well, we got away with a lot of holding and a lot of, doing what we do as far as Steeler DBs, shooting our normal, without looking at what the Ravens did. And the Ravens did the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. So the referees called it fair. So saying all that and knowing all that, Joey Porter Jr. graded out at 86.4, which is a super high grade for him. Overall, he did well in nickel, he did well in dime, and he definitely did well in the pro set, okay? Jackson, I had a little concerns, but he was handsy a little bit, and that's how Bateman for Baltimore was getting open, if you guys didn't know. Jonte Jackson covered Bateman the majority of the snaps for the game. And so Bateman was out there cooking a little bit, where Zay Flowers didn't, right? And Isaiah Likely, in my opinion, just got lost in the wash a couple of times because he looked like he was blocking because he was tilted, and then he just snuck out. So that ain't so much on the DBs, right? But who played well was Elliott, KZ, and Minka. Minka might not have had a big play, but Minka had 2 game-saving tackles. Yes. When he was one-on-one locked up with Mark Andrews, Minka handled his business, bro. So the guy who didn't do well was Beanie Bishop. I went back and I watched the tape and I said, man, this was a rookie game for Beanie. He got lost in the wash a couple of times with coverage. He didn't attack aggressively like how he normally does. But I'll take it as a learning experience because it's his first time being in a big game. Saying all that, I give the DBs a B, a legitimate B, and I think they played well enough to win the game for the Steelers.
I like that. I think that's a fair grade as well. Like Beanie didn't play well. That's easy. Joey Porter Jr. had a bounce back game. He did play well. Good for him after the week before where he played lousy. But yeah, it wasn't a great game. But I think a B is fair. We didn't have a bunch of guys running free. We didn't see a ton of separation out there. Guys were getting free in the zone a little bit, but that happens in a zone defense. What are you supposed to do?
Fact.
So, but from all that standpoint, yeah, I think a B is a fair grade, Big G.
All right. So my and I like that B because I appreciate it. See, like I said, I got to preference it. B don't mess around when it comes to grading. So I think this week I might have talked him into something, man. I don't know because we did not talk before. Matter of fact, we told each other it's got to be just organic. We're not going to feed off each other. We're just going to see where it's at. So I think just maybe from my presentation, I might have won him over a little bit. So B, I'm giving the Steelers defense an A. I'm giving them an A grade for the game, an A.
I think you have to. Based on the number of points that were allowed, the number of total yards that were allowed against the number 1 scoring offense, number 1 offense in yard, just the number 1 offense, the Steelers shut it down. And if you're going to shut that down, then at some point the grade has to be an A. I could see if they had 500 yards and maybe 25 points or something like that. That is not what happened. It isn't. And for whatever reason, and you're going to get the rat birds, you're going to hear all their excuses. I don't want to hear the excuses. The bottom line is you didn't score enough points and you didn't win the football game. Facts. Period. End of story. That's it. You didn't have a bunch of yards. You weren't going up and down the field. That's not what this game was. I think an A plus for the defense. I think it is great. I think that's a fair grade. I think the defense was just outstanding.
Yeah. I'm feeling it, man. And like I said, put some respect on the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, man. Some respect. We the number 1 defense in the league, man. And all y'all talking all that crazy mess out there in podcast land or social media and sports figures and all, respect. I just want to start hearing respect as far as the Steelers defense.
Yeah.
B, we move to the special teams, bro. What can I say? Like JJ, bro, like JJ on Good Times. What can I say? A plus.
Yeah.
A plus. Come on, man. Boswell wins the game again. 6 field goals, a 57-yarder. Man, that 57-yarder, when I was watching on tape and I rewound and looked, I said, bro, that thing could have went 70.
Yeah, it was money.
He kicked the brake shoes off of that football, man.
Money. It was in the middle of the net.
Man, come on. Bro, he's going to win AFC Player of the Week again. He's going to win it again, bro. So, you want to do the super chat, man?
Yep. Got our man Capricorn Steel coming through with the super chat. Respect. Hey, man, we appreciate you, Capricorn Steel. Thank you, as always, for supporting the channel and supporting everything we do, man. We love you, man. We really, really love you.
Facts, man. We appreciate you, bro. So, yeah, A plus. A plus.
It can't be anything but A plus. Bosworth did his thing. Waitman, again, did his thing. You know
what Waitman's average was for kicks?
No.
56.5 on 4 punts. See? Field position was critical. And he handled his business.
He was getting it out of there. Which is what you have to do in a field position game. You know, he was getting it out of there. So, and the coverage units were much, much better this week than what they were last week. So,
big facts.
I like the grade. I think A plus, I don't think it could be anything but A plus.
Yeah. So special teams, A plus across the board, punting. And listen, just like I said, put some respect on the Steelers defense. You better put some respect on the Steelers special teams.
Yeah.
We got 2 units that's numero uno in the NFL, bruh. Number 1. So moving forward, no, I don't want to hear all that mess. We got 2 of the best units out of 3 in all of NFL.
Yeah.
So that makes us contenders, not pretenders. We the real deal. All right, B, we go to coaching, man. We go to coaching. Now, this is the area that I think sometimes I'm biased.
Okay.
Because I appreciate Mike Tomlin so much, man. I am a Steeler guy that believes wholeheartedly that Tomlin is the top 2 or 3 coach in the entire NFL. And he's been that for years, right? The issue is that people want to play for him. That's why he's been solid for 17 years. So I start looking at what happened from coaching based on what he's continuing to be able to do against the Baltimore Ravens, who's supposed to be our competitor. We done whooped them boys so many times in a row, I done lost count. It ain't no rivalry. It's not a rivalry. It's not a rivalry when they lose all the time.
Correct.
We whoop them. So Tomlin owns Harbaugh, bruh. He owns him, right? So right off the bat, Tomlin gets us a little higher. So then I had to go back and look at in-game adjustments. What was made from the position coaches to actually help win the game for the Steelers? Offensive coordinator, Mr. Smith, you checked the box this week. You petitioned for Justin to get in the game when we needed him because we knew they were going to stack the box and he brought him in. You told Russie, look up the scene from Mount Washington because they were playing 2 high safety with Hamilton back trying to make a play and bait us into throwing one of those balls that could have been intercepted, right? You also petitioned to get Jefferson out of the freaking game and bring in a guy who could block, which helped us in the run game in the 4th quarter. So, Mr. Smith, you up there a little bit with a good adjustment. Coach Alston, what did you do? Oh, you saw when they was hurting us with Hill as far as the little scat back out the backfield. Okay, I got to go to dime. And you trusted Wilson enough to make a play for us, which he did. Mm-hmm. And I think, and B, I don't think that was Tomlin's call. I think that was Austin's call. I really do believe that, bro. Because we know our coach. Our coach has a tendency to lean towards not playing rookies and not doing that, even at this point in the season.
Yeah.
Because he's got to build the trust. And I think Austin went to Tomlin and was like, look, bro, put him in the game. And he did exactly what he's supposed to do. So based on those adjustments and based on Tomlin understanding what needed to be done, I give the coaching a B plus this week. Not an a B plus, because I think we can even coach better. And the reason why is because we didn't perform in the red zone. And I think that has to be an adjustment over the next 10 days. Red zone performance for the Pittsburgh Steelers will move my coaching to an A from a B plus.
Yeah, I think it was a little high. I would say a B to even B minus just because the offensive woes. That's all. I thought the defense was outstanding, excellent. But the
Mm-hmm.
offensive woes again with the red zone stuff. We got to fix it. It can't continue to be a problem like it's been a problem.
Yeah.
So for the Steelers to get better and for the Steelers to be what they want to be, they've got to be able to figure out what the red zone stuff is going to look like and going to be moving forward. So I would have went a little lower, but I don't think it's an unreasonable grade at all. I don't think it's unreasonable. I just think I expect more, and I think they can give more. So I would have went a little lower, but I don't think it's a bad grade, Big G.
I like it, man. All right, so my overall grade for the Steelers. What do we grade out with the Baltimore Ravens? We got an A plus on defense. We ended up with like that C plus, B minus range on offense. We got an A on special teams and we got a B on coaching. So I got to legitimately put them at that B plus range overall for the game, maybe even A minus. But to be fair, because I expect more. I know that we did well. I know that we won, but we can perform better. We can win better. Red zone, we get it cleaned up. We blow Baltimore out. Hey, listen, I think there might be some wrinkles in the game this week for the red zone, and I think we're going to blow Cleveland out, and then we're going to be ready for them Bengals in 10 days, and we're going to blow them out too. So if they make the adjustments offensively, the Steelers are on the trajectory to be an A team in the NFL. So, but right now, I got to be humble. I got to give them that B plus, A minus grade as a team.
Yeah, as a team, if you take all three phases, I think B plus is right in line because defense, we know what it was. Special teams, we know what it was. Offense, we know what it was. You take all of those and put it all together, I think a B plus for this game is exactly where it should be. Look, the Steelers were fine on all phases, but they can be better in offense. We just got to get to that next level. But look, it's hard to do what we did on defense or anything better on defense and anything better on special teams. Really hard to be better in those phases of the game. So overall, I love the grade there, Big G, as a B plus.
Man, thank you, man. I did good for my first time, didn't I? I did good, didn't I? Did good, didn't I?
You did, man.
Yeah, I did good for my first time.
Everybody, just so y'all know, the report card, Big G's report card is going to be out tomorrow. So make sure you guys come to Steelers Almighty. Check that out tomorrow afternoon. It'll be out, up and running. So, Big G, I'll be honest, man. I'm about at the end of the line, brother. So, anything else, any final thoughts you got to say to me, the people, anything else about what the Steelers did to the Ravens?
We beat them down. And you know what? I've been holding on to this purple sign for a minute. On the other podcast I'm on, I've been holding on to it. But make sure you write that down, Ratbirds. You write it down how we beat you down. We won 18-16. Write that. Write that down. And all the complaining you're doing all on these social media platforms, you lost. So write that. And we coming to Baltimore and going to duplicate the process, bro. We got one for you coming to Baltimore too. But we'll get to that when that game comes. But B-Man, thank you, man, for allowing me to be back on the podcast again. I really appreciate it. I love doing this show. Make sure you check me out on all the different platforms that I'm on, including Steel Curtain Network. And don't forget about the KnoItAllz Podcast. We are diligently working to get 1K subs. We actually have a QR floating around out there. Thanks to our executive producer over here, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. It's at KnoItAllz 8066. So you can look it up. You can see KnoItAllz on YouTube or all different social media platforms. We have an X. We have a Twitter. We have everything out there, and we are working diligently to get to 1K subs. So make sure you join me on that platform too. But 2025 going to be looking a little bit different for Big G. So I thank you, bro. I appreciate coming over here.
Man. Hey, everybody. I appreciate you all being in here and putting up with us. The Browns on Thursday. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough game. People think we're going to blow the Browns out. No, we're not. We're not going to blow out the Browns. It's going to be tough. It may come down to the very end. But as long as we win the game, who cares?
Facts.
2 games, and in a short distance, we got a couple of older players. But as long as we win the game, that's all that matters. It's on the road too, offering an emotional win. Just go win. So I'm on the mend, man. Tomorrow's a big day to see exactly what's going to go on. Hopefully they can go in from the outside and drain this thing out. And if they do, I'll take it, and then I'll be back. So I appreciate everybody being out there, man. Thank you, guys. We love you guys, and aloha.